Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Rim Shots with Sean on the Rock Rage Radio Network, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk. Hey, I get another curtain call record artist here. I tell you, I'm getting to meet some very cool people that do some very cool music through curtain call. And I have Nyki Lindsay King with me here. How are you?
I'm good. Great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for the wait. I apologize. I get stuck in something, so I do apologize for that.
No worries.
You look like you're outside and a little bit overcast. Where are you coming to from today?
I'm in the Atlantic region in Canada. It's not that cold today though. It's pretty nice actually. It's one of the nicer
You're
days.
in Montreal.
No, that's Eastern.
I'm in Halifax.
I'm not far from you.
Okay, awesome. Well, so this is good. So we'll do our best to not say A, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And we're gonna say that we're appreciative of our neighbors to the south, but we don't want to become the 51st state, or maybe we do. I don't know. We're not going to go there today. Tell me a little bit about you guys and what you're doing in terms of your music.
I'm just trying to get messages out to people that are kind of hidden between, I guess you could say, fences that don't get to reach certain people. A lot of things are happening in the world, and I think some people are just stuck in a bubble about conspiracies and what's true and what's not true.
I love that, because I find nowadays you can't go on social media, and I'll give you a great example. I had a post today about something that had really, it was about, I guess, an appointment of a political nature, but my post had nothing to do with politics. And what are you, right or you left? And it's like you can't say anything without somebody trying to tear you to pieces.
I don't know, man. I mean, if it comes to politics with me, I'm very weary about people and friends, and I get rid of people very fast. When it comes to views, I mean, common sense is always going to be common sense.
Well, and I mean, I had a conversation with somebody this morning, and basically, I'm a nothing. I'm not a right. I'm not a left. I'm maybe center. I'm a common sense person, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a morals person. If there's a difference between right and wrong. Just because
Yeah.
something hits a policy, if it's wrong, but it makes, you know what I mean. So I mean, so in terms of getting your music out there, how has that been? If people have been embracing it, are they scratching their heads, are they pushing back? How's it been for you?
It's been actually a good ride so far. It's been early. I mean, I released the single for this new album that I'm going to be recording the rest of the songs for this year, Dhamma Chakra, and Running Out of Time is the first single that I released, and it's covering some sensitive topics, I would say.
I did hear it, and I always hate to ask this question, and I seem to always ask it when I'm on with curtain call guests. But part of the goal of me having curtain call people on the podcast is to introduce my audience to new folks, and to me to get introduced to new folks. If you were to do a comparable to you as an artist with somebody else that's out there, who might it be?
Wow. I don't know.
Well,
I guess I could say, well, I mean, if God was an artist, that's as close as I could say. I mean, there's some people who have different songs that cover spiritual natures, and I don't know. I guess I would have to say something more religious, but something that feels good too. You know, like not like it's you got to be ashamed to be a lover of Jesus Christ. There's cool ways to go about that too. You know, so yeah, I'm just trying to find ways to like define my craft. You know, and a lot of the loops that I've been going through in my own life, I kind of like. It's more Jesus. I don't know. That's the only answer that I have. If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah. No, go again. So you were saying you were just trying to.
I'm just trying to like adapt my creativity in a spiritual way.
Well, and that is admirable. And I will say, from a risk-taking perspective, could be a little bit risk-taking, which I think is great, because you know how it goes. We talk politics, now we're talking religion or spirituality, and some people, they like to voice their opinion for or against that. Have you found that you've had to maybe defend yourself for doing that at all?
No, I think I've already defended myself to the point where I think Jesus Christ is defending me. So that's the way I look at that part of it. I mean, I haven't really got a big following in Canada for this song.
Right.
It's been, yeah, I've tried to get it. I have some radio play in Canada, but it's very slim because of the topic, you know what I mean? And more play in the States, kind of surprised there. Way more play in the States and the United Kingdom.
So it's interesting because I rep a number of artists, and an artist that I rep is actually from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and she tends to get more play in other places besides Canada. And she's not tackling spiritual matters. I just think as artists, we treat our artists very strangely up here, I find. It's the classic. We don't embrace them until they make it somewhere else.
Yeah, I've had some bad experiences here with societies in Canada. That's why I'm represented by BMI in the States, because I had some little scandals going on with my society here in Canada. So
Right.
it's a rare situation, but I'm represented by BMI. I'm like, Canadian artists are usually represented by Canadian societies, but in my case,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Well, and I was actually told by a number of people that BMI, as opposed to ASCAP, could be the more advantageous one for Canadian artists, just because of how they collect, where they collect, their reach, and those types of things. So it's probably a good move.
Yeah, I had some placements in many TV shows and some movies and stuff, and they take their percentage for foreign royalties, BMI, and then when they were sending the rest of the allocation to SOCAN, those guys were dipping in too. So it's like, why do I need two people to do the same thing? I mean, my music's more for the States. I got a few placements in shows in Canada, but nothing big. The
Yeah.
pay here is the pay rate for visual audio or even radio is small.
It is, and so the one thing I guess that we can tell our neighbors of the South, being a Canadian artist, and are you born and bred in Canada?
Yeah.
So, so myself, like you, we always probably had this goal to be discovered or play in the United States and get the big hit in the States. And there's a reason for that, because in Canada, and this is not I wouldn't call it a slight, but there's a certain, I guess, fabric of music. If you don't fit the format, or if you don't fit the whole deal, you're not going to have nobody's going to say a path to success is easy. It's probably going to be a little bit more difficult if you don't fit a certain agenda.
I still think, I know it's hard to break those gates, but I still think if you're honest and you really believe in what you're doing and you're writing about some honest, like stories, like the Tragically Hip are pioneers to me, because those guys set the bar really high, and they're kind of original in their own way. A lot of people might not know who they are, and they were a really big band to me, and they just did things the way they wanted to do things, and that's the way it is. Same as Nirvana. Some people can't be told what to do because their style doesn't inflict what society has for people to do. Like most of the industry's music is all pop and rap, and it's pretty much on a negative vein, if you want me to say.
No, I agree with you. And, the other interesting thing, and that you brought up, the hip, and obviously if you're Canadian, the hip is, every country has, a number of bands who are huge in their own country that nobody knows about. So I had the opportunity to interview the lead singer from Rose Tattoo, who was from, Australia. Biggest band in Australia you would think might be AC/DC or NXS. It's a band called Cold Chisel. Have you ever heard of them?
No,
Right.
I can't say.
Right. And you shouldn't feel bad for that, because a lot of people outside of Australia haven't. But I think of a band like Thin Lizzy, who, were huge in the UK and Ireland, and really never made it in the States. The hip would be in that bucket too. So I get what you're saying. People don't get that. And outside, I guess, as Canadian artists, that's kind of what we experience on a semi-regular basis. Is the rest of the world takes a while for them to figure out who we are.
I respect a lot of the Canadian artists, as long as they have a good project in front of them. You know what I mean? People who work hard deserve to get the recognition they work for. Some people just end up floating up there, and there's a whole different branded image, and I don't know. I'm more skeptical on the people who get songs written for them as artists, and they stand in front and think it's something that they did, when it's not really true to songwriters. Because most songwriter artists,
No, for sure. And some people are putting out AI driven, and they're putting out an album and it's entirely AI, including the vocals and everything, right?
Yeah. I think it takes away the creativity in that sense. A lot of those songs have a lot of techno and different beats. I'm not saying that stuff can't be good on a wide scale. It's just the creativity level with no instruments. It's like, I don't know.
Well, and I think what people need to understand, this is just my opinion, and and it's not your opinion, it's my opinion, but they're being force-fed something, and by virtue of the fact that they're accepting it, that's what's happening in music. They're not, they're not taking a stance, they're not going out and trying to find stuff. The consumer slash listener is just taking whatever is shoved down their throat, and it's really kind of sad.
Yeah, I get that.
Anyway, we're not going to fix that in this interview, but we'll put it out there. So did you record your entire album in one take, and your plan is to do the waterfall releases? Is that what you're doing?
Well, no, I haven't recorded the whole album. I've recorded a few songs for this album, and I started off with Running Out of Time. I actually recorded that song in about a couple of hours, if I have to be honest.
Nice.
A couple of hours. It was pretty much mixed and then mastered, and then I was going through some fine tuning with different things in it, and yeah. So it was pretty fast, actually. I have another 3 to go. I just have to get some mixing and mastering done, and then I got to go back and hit the studio with some new stuff on top of that.
So what's your goals for these releases? Like, it sounds to me like you're doing what what I certainly do with a lot of my artists. Like we mentioned, the waterfall releases, get behind a single, push it. As soon as it runs out of gas, put the next single, push it, and then at the end, kind of release an entire project. So you're introducing people to the songs, and then you're reintroducing.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of like let a few of them out as singles. The next one that's coming up is Real, and then I think I'll have 2 more that follow that, and that'll be probably it. Because Running Out of Time, I have a video for, so it took a lot of work and a lot of effort and financially a lot. So I don't want to be spending the same amount of money on one song as I did for Running Out of Time. It's not gonna happen, Like I'm gonna market this single properly, and the rest of the stuff I'm gonna just like pretty much flow out, and then eventually get to gigging.
So, as a Canadian artist, you will know this. There and my friends in the U.S. always find this astoundingly wild, but there's a system up here for grants that you can get to produce music. Have you gone after any of those? Have you been successful in any of those?
I tried Console These Art a few times, and I don't know. For me, it's not working. I mean, I had something filled out properly, and then these companies seem to just foster the same people. A lot of the same people win those awards, but I never hear anything about these people. They just keep getting money. I never really hear a groundbreaking album came out from this so and so person that had the grant for like 3 years in a row, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, not to be any government conspiracy guy, but I think when the government's involved on that level, I think that I talked to an artist in Canada who was shooting a video, and they were told they didn't have enough Indigenous people working on the video shoot, and the funding was basically put on hold until they did, and it wound up costing more money, which they got from the government. So the government made the mistake, but gave them more money anyway. So. I don't know. To me, I've never been the benefactor of any of those. Therefore, I feel that I'm not doing anything wrong if I comment on that.
No, I get that. I'm on a worker's salary, so I pretty much had to tie all knots to do what I've been doing. And I actually made that Running Out of Time video myself. I kind of did the green screen in one green screen studio, and then I kind of got the video blocks that I took from my Story Vision, and I sent them to an editor and the time stamps for the storyboard and put it all together. So that's another part of the creativity that I've been involving myself in. So as I go, I'm getting more involved in this project, more than maybe I wanted to be. But yeah, it's a lot of work.
But you know what? So here's not that you would necessarily ever want to do this, but you are now opening up yourself to the fact that not only could you do this for yourself, you could start doing it for other people, and maybe make a side living on it, which is really, I've recently embraced this thing in the music business that it's not only about playing music, because I'm a musician myself. There's other things, other ways you can make money. So smart on you to be able to do that. You're learning that skill set.
I kind of stopped that way because I've been trying so hard just to get out there, and I had some a good time with the band that I was playing with a few years ago, and we were making some noise and that, and I kind of got on the verge of like wanting to do certain things differently, and there's a lot of people who wanted me to write songs from the Greenberg management for different artists, and it's not the first time that's happened, but I'm really not diving into that area right now because I find that this project that I'm working on is consuming my time.
Nothing wrong with that. And, creativity isn't one of those things that you can direct it, manually. Like if you're studying for a math test or anything like that, you kind of got it kind of takes you and you don't take it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So last question, where are my viewers, my faithful following, and that they're really starting to get into these curtain call artists? Where can they find out more about you and what you're up to?
They could check out the Facebook page because I always have stuff in the feed, or they can check YouTube if they want to look at the new video. And
Well, and
trying to get.
I'm going to be signing. Brian sent me all the links. As soon as we're done here, I will be signing up for all those because I like to support. I like to see what's going on. And hey, a fellow Canadian artist, maybe we can look at doing something down the road.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Great. Right on.
My friend, thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you for having me.
We're back after this.